Alrighty guys, so Jujutsu Kaisen Phantom Parade on the global side of things will be having its update, and it will be applying the second part of the movie collaboration. Now, I saw the tweet go live. I was going to make a video at the time, but obviously Solo Leveling Arise had their half anniversary pop off, so had to prioritize that. But yeah, in a couple of hours time the GETO will be releasing, and through that the event will continue on. New additional content will be added. Free multi will be given, and hopefully we get lucky and maybe potentially pulling this man. Not that I don't care for. I mean, if I pull him, I'll be happy. I mean, it's a new limited character, clearly. But if you don't pull him, don't feel bad. It's not a character you want to concern yourself with, to be fair. So just kind of wanted to run through on what this man is doing. So obviously he's a blue attacker. That's questionable. I would have said more of a blue support. But anywho, characteristics. At the start of every turn, he recovers cursed energy by 20. This is crucial to know because this is what he's kind of working off from. Skill 1. Deals 120 melee taijutsu damage. Now, if his own cursed energy is greater... So yeah, the higher own cursed energy is the greater the critical hit boost he applies. So basically, this GETO works off from having high cursed energy. So if you want to maximize this character, you need to make sure that you have high cursed energy at all. Well, at most times, I would say. Skill 2, Jujutsu damage by 181. If own cursed energy is 30 or above, then you decrease the selected enemy taijutsu damage by 25%. If cursed energy is 40 or above, increases the selected enemy's Jujutsu damage received by 25%. So that's kind of how that's working. Skill 3, 70 range Jujutsu damage by AoE. The higher the own cursed energy, the greater the damage boost. And then the ultimate, again, 200% range Jujutsu damage to all enemies. The higher own cursed energy is, the greater the damage boost. Reduces own cursed energy to 0 when ultimate skill is performed. So when you are building up your cursed energy and you're utilizing the skills and maximizing the skills output, you want to use the ultimate last or when you need it most, because it will drain everything that you're building off this character from in terms of the cursed energy. Then you're back to square one, just stand there looking at the enemy and just being an absolute punching bag. Alright, so the ultimate does actually kind of screw him over in terms of that his cursed energy is what runs this kit. So by having 0, it really just does him dirty. Combination with a teammate, just a damage increase, that's fine. And then when it comes to the auto skill, when defeating an enemy, recovers own cursed energy by 10. The more enemies you defeat, the greater the cursed energy recovery. So in a situation where there's multiple enemies or grunts basically with the boss, that's primarily a situation you want to be in, so that way you can maximize your high cursed energy intake. So overall with this character, I personally look at him more as a support type blue unit. In terms of damage wise, I mean, yeah, as long as your cursed energy is up there, even with the cursed energy being high up there, I've had experiences where he just was not performing. Now I will say the ultimate really does pack an absolute punch, but again, that is a double-edged sword that will screw you up royally if you use it at the wrong moment. So overall with this GETO, yeah, he does fall off, unfortunately. Other characters in the JP side of things did release being a blue typing and did way better than him. So there are other characters to release on global eventually that will outshine him, pun intended. Going over the recollection memories that are only summonable, there's no free recollection memory, unfortunately. So this one, 40% Jujutsu, HP at 13.3. And pretty much when you use your ultimate skill, you get a 60% Jujutsu damage increase. And then if you get it to LB3, 65%. And then if you get it to LB1, then your ultimate skill gauge has an increased charge rate of 20%. Honestly, this card isn't actually that bad. In terms of Jujutsu damage and ultimate feeding, it's actually really fairly solid. But it's pay to win. And if the banner ain't worth summoning for, it's just gonna unfortunately disappear. So that's kind of where that's at. And then the other pay to win memory card is pretty much the same in terms of the Jujutsu damage as well as the HP, but with this one you can use your command skill or your ultimate skill, and you get a Jujutsu damage increase of 40% whilst recovering your own cursed energy. So pretty much in the situation of GETO, this is going to be fairly nice. Now I would say that you're losing the additional damage, but then again, if you get it to LB1, you get that additional damage back by a 15% mark. So overall LB1 is realistically where you want to get your late memory card at. But that's basically the memory cards. The memory cards are fairly decent, so not to be slept on if you do manage to pull one randomly, right? Especially off your free multi, that will be a W. But my overall look and my overall thoughts on this GETO in particular, just not worth your time. There's no ifs, there's no buts, there's no sugarcoating it. The only reason why I can see people summoning for this character, one, if you're a whale, right, he's a limited character, right, you just want the character, and I get it, you know. With where global is at right now, I mean, you can quite comfortably utilize the GETO, but he will fall off, that's a guarantee. If you are a fan of GETO, that's another reason why I can see people summoning for him. By all means do so if that is the case. I wish you all the best of luck. If you are free to play, if you are even a low spender, I would reconsider. Look, Green Gojo is practically around the corner. That is the character which you want to go crazy for, right? Yuta, that's also a character which I know a lot of people are re-rolling for and doing their best to get their hands on. And again, that is most definitely a character you want to get your hands on. If you are free to play or low spender but you still want GETO because of who the GETO is, I mean, you can always start a fresh account, go about that way, you know, not to jeopardize your main account. That is just not worth it. So that's something that you guys can utilize, of course. So again, in the situation you guys are about to see right now, cursed energy, I've got 85. I should keep going, right, buffing myself up. So if I do the ultimate now, it's going to really set me up royally in terms of the loss that I'm going to have with this character. So I'm going to purposely just kind of rock out GETO. So there's the ultimate will do a lot of damage. The ultimate does do a decent amount of damage. Yeah, look at that, 300k, practically 400k. So by dropping that, GETO is now vulnerable. Well, then again, I did manage to get a decent amount of... so yeah, if you're in a position where you can get some cursed NG back, you're solid. If you're not, then you are going to be out of at least 2 to 3 rounds of GETO just being dead weight. So that's the scary thing about this character, right? You just have to utilize him and build him up in a specific way. Otherwise, it's you know, there's no other way to put it. It's a GG. So that's kind of what I wanted to kind of talk about on that one. But again, on the global side of things, he will be dropping in a couple of hours' time. Not really worth your pulls for my free-to-play peeps. Don't do it. If you're a low spender, I will even say for you to reconsider. But that's pretty much it. Yeah. So. I will say this. I will say this to the GETO fans out there. Half anniversary, teenage version of GETO, redonkulous, really good, high tier, better than the GETO that we have coming up for the movie collaboration. So if that's something that you're interested in terms of a future GETO releasing that's going to be broken, yeah, half anniversary, they are cooking. They are cooking. All right, and plus with the scheduling of where global is at right now, if Green Gojo does drop next, that is pretty much the next big character that you want to try push for. But yeah, GETO, unfortunately, he's just, I don't know, for me personally, he just doesn't hit the mark. And even from a global perspective, I feel like his value will drop off fairly quickly as we get on with moving closer to the half anniversary. I truly do believe that. So yeah, that's kind of what I would suggest if you wanted my honest opinions in terms of summoning. It's just, yeah, it's not worth it, boys. It really ain't worth it, unfortunately. Sorry, GETO, but there's a better version of you to come at a later time, in a couple of months' time. That is the one that we all need to be preparing ourselves for. The blue one, other characters in the future that release outshine him, outdo him, outbetter him, and the value for this character, unfortunately, is inevitable to say that it will drop